Hello, and thank you for joining us today. This is Michael Kupfer with Harvard Business Services, and we're sharing our screen with you just now. Sorry about not having that up sooner for you. Today's webinar is going to be Understanding Foreign Qualification, and before we get started, just a couple of quick notes here at the top. First of all, if you've joined our webinars before, you know that we like to do this, but if not, we like to know where our audience is joining us from. So if you could just take 1 second and find your chat box in the control panel there, and just type in if you're here in the U.S., let us know what state you're in or what city. If you're not in the U.S., let us know what country you're in. We'd love to know what is represented and be able to say hello. And while you're doing that, I'll just mention that the slides and the recording of today's webinar will be available tomorrow. So you'll get an email probably around midday tomorrow Eastern time that will include the link to both of those things, the PDF of the slides and the recording of the webinar itself. During today's presentation, if you have any questions, please go ahead and just type them in while we're presenting, and we'll answer whatever we can just then. If there's anything we can't get to right away, we'll save it until the end where we'll have a little Q&A time as well. So you'll have plenty of chances to get your questions answered. We really do encourage you to ask whatever's on your mind, and we'll give you the best answer that we can, and hopefully be giving you some great information along the way as well. So I think with that, we can I'll give you a quick introduction about who we are, and I also just want to say hello to everybody that's joining us. Thanks for letting us know where you are. I see we have a few people from California, Chicago, Pennsylvania, New York, another from California, somebody from South Africa has joined us, so this is great. We have both coasts of the U.S. and some international countries as well, so welcome again to everyone. So just a little bit about Harvard Business Services. We were founded in 1981 in Wilmington, Delaware by Rick Bell, who is pictured on the left in that photo there. This company has been family owned and operated the entire time, and just this past January, Michael Bell, who is going to be presenting to you in just a moment, was named the new president of the company. We're now located in Lewis, Delaware, which is right on the Atlantic coast, about 2/3 of the way down the state. We have formed over 175,000 companies, and we have over 75,000 current clients worldwide, almost from every country in the world. So we really do like to help whoever we can from wherever they may be. We are a Delaware registered agent and formation specialist. That is our area of expertise. Very customer-focused company. We offer free lifetime support, the lowest prices that we can offer, and very, very friendly staff who is happy to answer your questions whenever you may have them. It is important to note that we're not attorneys and we're not accountants, so please don't take any of the information mentioned on today's webinar as legal or accounting advice. And finally, we have no affiliation at all with Harvard University, just to avoid any confusion there. And with that, I think we're ready to get started, so I'm going to turn it over to Mike to tell you about Foreign Qualification.
Hello, everybody. Thank you for joining our webinar today. This has been a great addition for us doing these webinars. If you haven't heard one of our webinars before, you can have access to them all on our YouTube channel, and you can view them all there. We've been hosting them since about February, and we've really found it to be beneficial for all of our clients or potential clients. So thank you again for joining us on today's webinar. So today's topic is about foreign qualification. A lot of people have this question, and it mainly refers to those that are located here in the U.S. It doesn't really refer to being outside the U.S., but I'm happy to answer any questions that I can help answer. So, foreign qualification is the process of registering your corporation or LLC to do lawful business in another state in the U.S. What brings this up is we are specialists in forming and filing Delaware LLCs and corporations. So if you form and file your company here in the state of Delaware, but you're in another state's location, which about 95% of our clients are, then there is an additional step that you have to take in order to do lawful business activities in the state in which you are physically located. And so that's where the term foreign qualification comes into play. So you are domestic to the state of Delaware and foreign to every other state in the nation. So by registering as a foreign entity, your company will comply with any local and state compliance matters, as each state wants a piece of the pie. So every state has their own regulations, and they want to know that you're doing business in their state, and they want you to comply with their local and state compliance matters. It's very important. This is a very important process that we try to mention to all of our clients, so that they understand the importance of it. So the next slide is about clarifying the word foreign. Foreign in this context, as I mentioned, does not refer to being outside the United States. Instead, it refers to doing business in a different state within the U.S. And to mention again, your company is domestic to the state where you are incorporated, and foreign to any other state where you do business. States may have different terms for the process, applications, and documents involved in foreign qualification, but the purpose and the procedure is generally similar in every state. Clarifying the word doing business. A lot of people ask us, well, what does actually doing business mean that would require me to foreign qualify in my home state? So doing business can be defined differently by each state, but there are some activities that commonly constitute doing business. Some of those examples are maintaining a physical office location or business address in the state, opening a storefront in the state, hiring employees in the state, or opening a bank account. Each state will have its own definition of business activities that are considered doing business and require foreign qualification. There are many different variables and situations, so to determine if your company will require foreign qualification, it is best to consult with an attorney or an accountant. And the reason I say that is because here at Harbor Business Services, because we are not attorneys and not accountants, we cannot say you should do this or you should do that. We can educate you on the process and inform you of the importance of it, but we can't actually say you should do this. So again, there's many different things around clarifying doing business, but these are some of the examples that we run into every day, and these are the examples that we give our clients. So it's very important to understand and clarify the word doing business. So why is the foreign qualification process necessary? Well, it is necessary because each state has the authority to govern the commerce that takes place within its own borders. This includes the ability to charge annual taxes and fees. If a company wishes to do business in any given state, it generally must comply with that state's laws. And once approved, the company will receive a document often referred to as a certificate of authority or certificate of registration. So this, really helps to clarify why foreign qualification is important for everybody who has decided to incorporate a business here in the Delaware. Even if you haven't incorporated your business here in the state of Delaware and you're incorporated in another state, if you are going to do business in another state, you will have to foreign qualify there as well. So many different situations that we run into with why is foreign qualification necessary. We also get a lot of questions about people who are, they have an online business and they work from home. So that's another big question that we get because we do work with a lot of people that have small businesses. If you plan to do, with a Delaware company, you can do business anywhere in the world that you would like. and you can be located wherever you would like in the world as well. Delaware does not require you to live in the state of Delaware or to visit the state of Delaware to form a company here. So you can work as you want, wherever you please. But often basic e-commerce business that only physically operate in its home state will not have to foreign qualify in all states, but there are many different variables, and you should consult with an attorney or an accountant. But generally, you will have to foreign qualify in the state in which you're physically located in, because even if you are working out of your home, that is still considered a physical office location within the state. So even if you work online and work from home, it is important for everyone to understand that that is considered a office location and doing business as. A lot of people also ask us, when should you apply for foreign qualification? There is no right or wrong time to when you should apply, but clients often apply for foreign qualification at the time of filing the entity here in Delaware. So everything is all done in one fell swoop. So when you are ready to start doing business in your home state, everything is taken care of, and you have no, you can go out there and do what you do best. So it is not a, you can handle it whenever you want, but we do typically, tell our clients that it's good to take care of now so you have less to worry about in the future. So I am going to take some time to answer this one question. If I am a business partner based in California, but my headquarters office is based in Arizona, should I register in California or Arizona? I think Arizona is less expensive. Okay, so it depends. You may have to foreign qualify in both states. So if you have an employee located in one state and you're located in another state, and it also depends if you have physical office locations. It also depends if you have bank accounts in both states. It also depends if you're hiring other employees. So there is, when it comes down to that, you may be required to file in both states, but I can't answer it directly to say that you need to. But you're generally going to have to comply with both states. So how does the process work? So the process is very simple and easy. We have it down to a science to know exactly what we need to ask for each state as far as information. I will tell you, when you file here in the state of Delaware, none of your information is generally available for public record. Whereas when you do foreign qualify, certain states do ask for certain information that is available for public record. So the typical process for foreign qualification includes the Certificate of Authority or Registration application, including the application fee. Most states usually require, in addition to the Certificate of Authority application, one or both of the following. Most of the time, states require the Certificate of Good Standing. The Certificate of Good Standing, we include it in our pricing for you. This document comes directly from the Secretary of State, verifying the company is current with all franchise tax and an active entity here in Delaware. The certified copy is the most least required document. The states that come to mind that require the certified copy is the state of Virginia, and I believe there's one more, but I don't have it off the top of my head right now. But basically, this document comes directly from the Secretary of State as well, and it states that it is the true and correct certificate of formation or incorporation from the state of Delaware. Each state has a different processing time. Some states can do it as quickly as 1 business days. Some states take as long as 2 weeks. So it really just depends. Some states require actual physical signatures, and some require conformed signatures. So it just really, each state has their own regulations, and we have to go by. So the processing time is different for each state. Once they do approve it, you receive an approved document, usually called a certificate of authority or certificate of registration. Again, each of the items above can vary from state to state, and each state often changes their requirements over time. And that requires us to be on top of it, each state, and know what changes have occurred so that we can properly file the documents on your behalf. And we do make sure that we do that, and we keep them up to date, in contact with the states to make sure that we're getting the necessary information that they require. All right, so I'm going to look through these questions, and so is it possible that beyond Delaware registration, a company principally operating from overseas is not doing business in any state, and thus no foreign qualification is necessary? So you can operate lawful business activities all over the world with a Delaware company, even if you are located in Europe or Asia or somewhere of that nature. You can do business all over the world, and it does not necessarily generate the term foreign qualification, but it is best to speak with an attorney to make sure that you are in compliance and able to do that. But it just depends if you have a physical office location or bank account or something of that nature. Yes, you can order a certificate of good standing anytime through our office. Okay, so that's how the process works. The foreign qualification costs vary from state to state. So some of the factors, the state fee often varies depending on the type of entity your company is, whether it's an LLC or a corporation. Generally, a ballpark figure for the state can range from $25 to $150, but for those that are located in California, Illinois, New York, Massachusetts, things of that nature, the fees tend to be higher for the state. Even if you're located in Texas, Texas is one of the most expensive states. So in addition to the state fee, we charge a fee of $179 for preparing and filing the document on your behalf. And then the additional document that's required, the certificate of good standing or certified copy, is $99 per document. So $179 plus the $99 plus the state fee will bring you to your total. Again, a lot of people ask us, well, is this a continued fee over time, or if this is a one-time fee? It's a one-time fee to register your business. But I'm going to get to another slide that is going to, talk more about, what you have to do in each state, because once you do foreign qualify, they do want you to keep up with filing annual reports and filing fees to maintain your good standing status as a foreign entity in that state. This is, speaking of that slide, this is this slide. So every state generally requires an ongoing maintenance fee to maintain your good standing in the state. In many cases, this fee is an annual requirement. It can be biannual, it can be quarterly, it can be monthly, it can be, it ranges from state to state. Some states don't require it for another 10 years. I think that's the state of Pennsylvania. But there is generally a renewal fee for this maintenance as well, like the application fee. This fee can vary based on state and entity type. Some states require an annual report, as I was saying, to be filed as part of the renewal, and this they will require certain information that could possibly be available for public record. So a lot of people, they file here in Delaware because their information is not available for public record, but other states do require your information to be filed with the state, and that does make it available in that state. The other thing that you need to know about when you foreign qualify is you are required to retain a registered agent in that state as well. If you have a physical address in that state, you can act as your own registered agent. However, if you do not have a physical address, or you just want a professional company to handle it like us, we certainly offer that as well. So we can act as your registered agent in the state of Delaware and in the state in which you are foreign qualifying in. The next slide tells you about what is a registered agent. So the registered agent is the liaison between your company and the state in which you are doing business. The registered agent will be responsible for receiving and notifying you of any communications from the state, such as franchise tax notices, annual report filings, or service of process, such as lawsuits. As I said in the previous slide, you will have to retain a registered agent in both the state in which you are incorporated in and the state in which you are a foreign entity in. And Harvard Business Services has the ability to offer registered agent service both in Delaware and outside of Delaware. We charge $50 a year to act as your Delaware registered agent. That $50 a year has remained at $50 since 1981, and it is guaranteed to remain at $50 so long as that fee is paid on time. Our fee for us to act as a registered agent in another state outside of Delaware is $99 per year. The reason it's a little bit higher in other states than it is in Delaware is because we're only physically located in the state of Delaware. We don't have offices around the nation in each state. So we do use a third-party registered agent to act as your registered agent in other states. And so that's why it's $99 a year in other states. All right, there are also additional requirements in certain states once you process the foreign qualification. Some states have what is called a publication requirement, in which new companies must pay to advertise their company in local publications for a certain period of time. Some states require 6 weeks. Some states require you do it in multiple counties in that state. Some places require you to do it throughout the entire state. Those states that require publication is Arizona. Arizona requires it for both LLCs and corporations. Nebraska for LLCs and corporations. New York requires it, but only for LLCs, and Pennsylvania requires publication requirement as well, but only for corporations. There may be additional states with publication requirements, as states can change these rules at any time. So that's a really important thing for people to know. It is expensive to do publication requirements, but certain states do require it. And we do work with a third-party vendor as well to assist you with that process as well. Specifically, we have a lot of clients that come to us from the state of New York, and we have a third-party vendor that we work with there that can handle your publication requirements there. You are able to do your own publications as well, but it can be a confusing process. So we're happy to take care of that process for you if you should require it. All right, and then the main question that we get is what happens if you don't complete the foreign qualification process. Even though the foreign qualification process can be expensive in some states, if you decide to conduct business in a state without first obtaining foreign qualification, you are putting your company at risk of penalty, and you could possibly, have to appear in court and things of that nature. So the state can fine your company and may require it to pay taxes and fees it should have paid in past years before giving the company good standing status. They could possibly just shut your company down and suspend you from working until this process is completed. So if you are unsure if you need foreign qualification, we recommend consulting an accountant or an attorney prior to conducting business activities in the state, so that you know exactly what you need to do in order to be in compliance with each state, as each state definitely wants a piece of the pie, and they want to know that if you're doing business within their borders. So this is a very important topic to go over. It can be a confusing topic. I hope I've helped clarify some questions and concerns that you have with regards to this process of foreign qualification. You can certainly reach out to any of us here at our office anytime to help answer any of these questions with regards to your questions with foreign qualification. And with that being said, I'm going to turn it back over to Mike to go through the rest of the slides and tell you a little bit more about our business, and then I'll be happy to answer had a Q&A with whoever has questions for us.
Great, thank you. And I did just chat out a link to the foreign qualification page on our website, where you can get some additional information. And if you have a specific state that you're trying to get more information about, what's required and how to do that process, you can fill out the little form on there, or you can use our live chat and talk to one of our agents right now. They'd be happy to answer your questions. So if you do need that information, please go ahead and check that out. A couple quick things before we get to the Q&A. Go ahead and send in your questions if you have them. Why choose Harvard Business Services? We mentioned some of this earlier, but we've been Delaware specialists since 1981. We're a family-owned and operated company. We offer free lifetime customer support. We have a same-day filing service. We're able to get orders processed and filed very quickly with the state of Delaware. We have low formation prices. If you do any comparison shopping, you'll see that our prices are not only lower but very transparent. We don't try to hide any fees, and all of a sudden you're paying twice as much as you thought you were. Our registered agent service for Delaware is just $50 a year, and as Mike said, that's guaranteed never to increase. And one thing we haven't mentioned yet is that our ratings on Better Business Bureau and on Trustpilot, which is a third-party review platform, they're 5-star ratings. They're great. More importantly, if you go there and you look at some of the other companies you might know that provide the service, those companies are not going to have the same ratings. We really do try hard to provide the best service in the industry, and I think the ratings and reviews that you'll see there will reflect that. So I do encourage you to check that out and check out our competitors on there, and you can make that decision for yourself. And here's just a little more information about contacting us. If you do need our support, we're available by phone, by email. We have the live chat on DelawareInc.com, and you can reach us by Skype as well. We're actually soon going to be adding a WhatsApp feature for those of you who might be international, so we'll be able to add that to this slide in the near future. And if you want to subscribe to our blog, I'm sure some of you already are, and that's how you heard about this webinar. But if not, that's how you find it on our website. You can sign up right there. We don't spam. We only email once a week. We don't sell or share your information. So please go ahead and sign up if you'd like to be informed of future webinars and other new articles and news that we're posting every week. So with that, let's jump into a few questions here. We have a couple lined up, and if anyone listening has additional questions, you have plenty of time to get them in, so just let us know. Mike, I just want to start by asking, what's the benefit of using a service like us or anyone instead of trying to do the foreign qualification on your own?
The benefit of using us versus doing it on your own or doing it through someone else is, as I pointed out in the slides, we have a team of specialists here in our office that do this all day, every day. So they know exactly what we need in order to get the document properly filed. So we make sure that it's filed in a timely manner or fashion, and we also make sure that it is accurately complete before filing it, so that way the document does not get rejected, and we don't have any hidden fees. We give you all the fees up front, so you know exactly what you're paying for at the time of service, so we can, properly get it taken care of for you.
Okay, and does the size or the amount of revenue that a company is bringing in affect the cost or the process of foreign qualification?
No, the revenue or the size of the company does not matter. There is one state in particular that does have a requirement with regards to the amount of shares of stock you have in the company. That is the state of Virginia. So if you have a certain amount of authorized shares of stock, their fee is based upon that for a corporation.
All right. We just got a question that's asking, are DBAs doing business as legally required? And I think we should just add to that question, is it required to have a unique name in the states that you're qualifying?
Yeah, so that's a great question. You're not legally required to have a doing business as. A DBA is simply another name that you'd like to operate under as outside of the name that was incorporated. But if you do want to have a doing business as, this would be filed in the county and state in which you are physically located in. And we don't get involved in filing the doing business as in the other state, but it's generally done through the Division of Revenue in your local county.
Okay. We have one question that's a little bit off topic, but it should be an easy one to answer. Regarding series LLCs, what must be done before the Secretary of State can forward a certificate of good standing or a certified copy?
In order for the Secretary of State to provide a certificate of good standing, the company must be up to date with all the franchise tax fees here in the state of Delaware. And for the certified copy, it's not a requirement as far as being up to date with franchise taxes in the state of Delaware, but just being that your company was filed here in the state of Delaware.
Okay. So I'm going to ask a question that kind of relates to a question that we received earlier. Why would you choose to register your company in Delaware and foreign qualify in another state as opposed to just filing your company in your home state and not having to foreign qualify there?
Yeah, so you can incorporate your business in any state that you would like. That's completely up to you. But each state is ranked as far as what is the most friendly state to do business in, what state protects the owners of the company, what state makes it easy for you to do business. And the question, when all those questions are asked, it's hands down Delaware. Delaware has been rated the #1 state to incorporate for many, many years now. And the reason for that is because of the Delaware Court of Chancery, which is the oldest court in the nation. The court is run by judges instead of juries. So you're going before a judge to get the decision instead of going before a jury. And the decision is made right then and there. And the judges in the Delaware Court of Chancery are looking to protect the owners behind the company to the fullest extent of the law. So because of the strong corporate law structure, makes Delaware a very popular state to make it the home of your corporation. And then once you file in the state of Delaware and then file as a foreign entity in the state in which you're physically doing business as, that means you're governed by the Delaware laws, but you're operating in another state's jurisdiction. So it's just another layer of protection for you as the owner of the company.
All right. We have someone who's asking, they're actually a current client of ours that uses our registered agent service in Delaware. They're wondering if we can remind them of the renewal and maintenance requirements regarding foreign qualification in New York.
Yeah, if we are the registered agent for the company in the state of Delaware and the state of New York, then we would forward those notices to you for both states. But we have to be the registered agent in both states in order to do that.
We got another question here. If your business is a national online business, do you need to file a DBA doing business as in Delaware?
So the DBA, again, is not filed here in the state of Delaware if you're not physically doing business as here, because you're not physically operating here. So the DBA is typically filed in the county and state in which you're physically located in.
Okay. And that is all the questions that we have received. So I think we can wrap it up there. And just to remind everyone, we are recording this webinar, so you'll be receiving a link to the recording as well as a PDF of the slides in an email tomorrow, so you can keep an eye out for that. If you are interested in getting foreign qualification service or just need some additional information, check out the link that I put in the chat a little bit earlier. And besides that, just thank you for joining us, and have a great rest of your day.